Welcome to Ministry Convos. This is Eric, and today I want to talk about a subject that I have never seen on a podcast before. I listen to a lot of preaching podcasts, all kinds of different ones, and there's probably a few out there, but I have never really seen one before that covers the topic of preaching to kids. That's preaching to kids. If you are a preacher or teacher, chances are you're going to have wonderful opportunities to teach and preach, and it's not always going to be to adults. A lot of it is going to be to kids. And I have a lot of fun with this personally. On my Monday afternoons, we spend in our local public school. We host the Good News Club, and I'm the primary teacher or preacher for that. I think we had like 40 some kids just yesterday in our public school Bible club after school, and it is so much fun. So I want to go through just some basic tips, some do's and don'ts of preaching to kids. The first do, if you preach and teach to kids, what you're going to want to do first off is have fun. The most boring children's teachers or preachers are the ones who are not having fun themselves, all right? I'm convinced one of the main reasons why kids get bored is that their teachers are not having fun. But if you are the teacher or preacher, then guess what? If you're having fun, the kids are naturally going to have fun. Either that whole room is going to be an environment of fun, or it's going to be an environment of lesson. Now, the two can go together, but I want to encourage you, anytime you have an opportunity to teach and preach for kids, make it your goal just to have fun doing it, all right? During the teaching and preaching. Now, whatever that fun looks like for you, it may look different. You may want to incorporate something like an object lesson, a fun review game afterwards, a lesson-related craft. All that stuff is good, but as far as the actual teaching or preaching to kids, there's usually one of two kinds of children's teachers. One, the ones who are focused on managing the kids, all right? And then there's the ones who are focused on having fun. If you spend more time and are more concerned with classroom management than you are having fun during the lesson, you're good. It's going to be an uphill battle. The whole time you're just going to be worried about, all right, behave, be quiet. If you spend most of your time managing behavior, you're in for an uphill battle. Why? Because kids have tons of energy. They're full of energy. And if you focus on trying to contain that energy, if that's your main focus, you're going to spend the whole time just fighting against all of their natural energy. And that's not easy for them to suppress that. It's not natural for them, particularly during church, where most of the time at church, they really can't do a lot. They're already suppressing a lot of things for, they're sitting in the main service, they're doing a lot of things. So if you can make that lesson time, that sermon time to be a time of fun, the kids will absolutely love it. What I'm trying to say is having fun is greater than managing the classroom. If you're having fun, you won't need to worry about managing the classroom so much because the kids will be having fun. You're going to harness all of that energy and they'll channel all of their energy into the lesson, all right? So that leads to the question of, great, have fun. How do you have fun preaching to kids? So do number one was have fun. Now we need to answer the question, how do you have fun preaching to kids? All right. Which leads us to do number two. Here's a great tip. Act things out. Usually when you're teaching or preaching a children's lesson, it's always going to be, almost always at least, a Bible story. Well, one thing you can do is don't just tell the Bible story, act it out. And have the children act it out also, all right? Sometimes when I'm teaching, I'll have the entire class act things out. Just yesterday, it was the army of Egypt following the children of Israel as they were, approaching the Red Sea. I asked, all right, everybody, stand up, and march really loud. Let's pretend there's an army after us. And everybody stood up, and all the 40-some kids, and they just started marching, and it added to the sound effect of what it's like to be there, being chased by this army. Then I had them stop, and they just hang on every word. When you involve the kids and encourage them to just act things out, they absolutely love it. And then all of that energy that you are fighting against, you're channeling it and you're harnessing it, you're providing it out for them, and you're using their energy to support the lesson, to support the Bible truth. And it's an awesome experience for them. It's fun. So I want to encourage you, act things out and have them act things out. If you're teaching kids, you need to get comfortable going off script, okay? If you're teaching kids and you are just stuck to a manuscript that you're reading from, it's probably not going to go well for you. It's probably not going to go well for the kids, all right? But the good news is, if you are teaching kids, then you are probably going to be teaching a Bible story that is already familiar to everybody. So you know what? You may think you need that manuscript, but if you've been in church a while and you're teaching David and Goliath or the story of Joseph, in all reality, you probably don't need that manuscript anyway, or that outline. You'd be much better off just putting that aside, telling the story, and having fun doing it, all right? So get comfortable improving. Improvisation, have fun, have them act things out, right? If you're on, the story of Jacob, when he had to meet Esau again, he had a limp. Let's all get up and let's start limping. Boom, have them limp, then have them go back to, there's these little stuff like that. It keeps their interest and they feel like they're a part of it. It's fun, and they remember so much more. And there's actually a lot more behind this too, because it has to do with cognitive learning and learning skills. All right, if a kid just hears something, that's one thing. But if they hear it and if they do it, they're comprehending what's happening in that story more. It's more routes of information that they're learning. So what I'm trying to say is, it actually helps them to learn the content by acting things out and by doing it, right? Kids have a very active imagination. They have a very active imagination. So what you can do is you can use that imagination by encouraging them to act things out. That's do number 2. So first do, have fun. Number 2, act things out. Here's another tip for preaching to kids. It's be dramatic. All right. Now, there's something about kids. Kids love drama. They just love drama. They do. They live for it. And you know what? Bible stories are packed with drama. They are. And when you bring that drama out in the lesson or in the sermon, the kids absolutely love it. Stop it halfway through and say, all right, what would you do? I need 3 people to tell me what you would do if you were in this situation. Park there. Let that drama hang. Ask a few of them. Involve them in it, and then go back and finish that story, right? I mean, to them, there's nothing more exciting. Oh, I can't believe that's happening. Whoa, what's going to happen? Even if they already know the story, they still are going to love it because they love the drama, right? So build up to points, draw things out. Every story has an emotive tone to it in the Bible. The narratives, whether it's an Old Testament narrative or a New Testament narrative in the Gospels or in the book of Acts or even in the epistles, can be made stories. There's a whole story of Paul leaving Titus, in Crete, for example. There's all of this stuff. When you park on the dramatic parts and you capture that emotive tone, it draws kids in big time. One thing I like to do, no matter where I teach or preach to kids, whether it's in a chapel service or at the Good News Club, which is our after-school Bible program that we do, is I'll often say, what do you think happened? What happened? I need a drum roll. And the whole class, they just love it. They just love being a part of the lesson. I probably do drum rolls maybe once a lesson, maybe once every other, something. And I don't plan that stuff. It just comes out. Be comfortable improvising, acting things out, having fun, being dramatic. I'll tell you what, you'll have the very occasional kid that acts up, and that's nothing that your children's workers there won't be able to handle. But if you're focused on having fun, you won't need to worry about managing classroom behavior. I mean, just those 3 words, managing classroom behavior. Oh, bore me to death already. I'm bored doing that. I'd much rather have fun telling that story, involving the kids with it too, right? And tucking the truth in during those times of dramaticness, all right, of drama rather. During those times of drama, tucking the truth in with the kids there. They love it and they remember it. So the final one, the do number 4, the fourth tip for preaching to kids is, and all of these kind of a culmination of all of the first 3, and that is immerse the kids in the Bible. What this does is when you are up there having fun and you're acting things out, or you get them to act it out. Sometimes I'll have the whole class act them out. Sometimes, just call 1 or 2 up and have them, have just improv. All right, you're gonna be Esther. All right, you're gonna be Haman. Even if it's just as simple as having a conversation and handing something to another, they have fun doing it, and it gets all the kids' attention, and it involves their imagination. Right? I said that a minute ago, that kids have a great sense of imagination. And I believe that God gave them that sense of imagination. And when you are dramatic about the drama in the Bible, don't be over dramatic. Don't misrepresent the passage, right? But notice when there is and draw it out. When you have them act things out and when you're having fun, you're feeding their imagination and using that and focusing that on the scriptural truth of the lesson. All right, you can use their imagination to immerse them in the Bible. Now, usually at a summer child outreach, whether it's a vacation Bible school or anything of the like, a summer camp, there'll often be decorations all throughout the church. Right, the teaching room. If it's in Jonah, it'll have water all around decorated in blue. I just want to say that doesn't have to happen in order for the kids to really have full immersion, all right? Because the kids' imagination is so great where if you tell a story well, you won't need the decorations. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a school cafeteria, a classroom. It doesn't matter what your children's class looks like. Strive for good facilities, don't get me wrong. But if you engage their imagination, listen, that's the best backdrop. That's far better than decorating the room, is getting to have fun with the kids, drawing them into the drama of the passage, and using their imagination that God's already given them. So don't just teach them a lesson. Tell the Bible story, immerse the kids in the story, and tuck the truth and application in there. The kids will absolutely love it. Now, if you preach regularly to kids every once in a while, you'll find that what it will do is it will greatly help your preaching to adults. And the reason why I say that is because I'm convinced there is not enough preachers on Sunday morning having the amount of fun teaching and preaching God's word that they ought to have. All right. And I just think that kids have imaginations, yes, but can I tell you a secret? So do adults. So do adults. Adults will love it also. Do the exact same thing with adults as far as bringing out the drama in the story. Have fun, right? I'll tell you what, if we focus more on teaching and preaching narratives, and learn how to do that and to be good storytellers and to be fun storytellers, we can reclaim the Old Testament in our pulpits on Sunday morning, and your congregation and your audience will absolutely fall back in love with God's Word, because all the stories in the Old Testament, that's not the children's section of the Bible. It's not. There's no children's section of the Bible. It's all for everyone, right? So I just want to encourage you, if you're a preacher or teacher, find an opportunity to teach and preach kids. It will help your preaching ministry. And I hope this was a help with you to you. Be sure to share this. If you know somebody, maybe you're a pastor, but you don't have an opportunity to teach or preach to kids, send this to your children's workers, all right? This is designed to be a resource, not just for you, but for anyone who teaches or preaches to kids. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you on the next Convo.